How's everyone doing? So last week I shared my vlog that I made in Auckland while I was there for a day. But in this video, I kind of want to fill you guys in on what happened after that day in Auckland. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so after that day in Auckland, I hopped a bus to Cambridge, where I then traveled to my home for the next 6 weeks. So for 6 weeks, I was staying at the Capernwray Adventure Lodge doing the ABS or Adventure Bible School program. The lodge was beautiful. It was right on the water in the middle of a bunch of farmland, and the sunsets were just unbelievable. So here's the thing. I want to share everything that I did while I was on ABS, but how they run the program is that there's always this kind of suspense going on. You don't know exactly what you're doing until you're doing it, and so I can't tell you guys everything. So because then if someone watches this video and then goes and does ABS, then it wouldn't be the same because they would know what's happening. So basically, I'll just tell you what I'm allowed to tell you, and this stuff is all on their website. And yeah, so the idea with ABS is to combine Bible teaching with physical and outdoor activities. So on ABS, we had some lectures and some Bible teaching, as well as various activities, adventures, and trips. And so we did some hiking, a little bit of travel around New Zealand, kayaking, caving, rock climbing, biking, and so much more. It was intense, but it was just so good. I was really pushed out of my comfort zone, and I learned a ton from the whole experience I had out there. And also, New Zealand is beautiful, and we got to just take in some insane landscapes. So while I can't talk about everything I did on ABS, I can briefly outline what I learned, because if I told you everything that I learned, we'd be here for a long time. So anyways, one of the big things was desiring God, seeking Him over things even as basic as food, shelter, warmth, etc. I realized that my true needs in life are not physical, and I started trying to have the attitude that Jesus had when He was tempted by the devil in the wilderness when He was fasting. And so the devil offers Him food, and Jesus, instead of taking the food, because He was hungry, like he would have wanted to take the food, but instead of taking the food, He responds by quoting scripture: "Man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." Our true needs are spiritual. We need God. So as I was pushed on ABS and I was denied certain physical things, such as a warm bed or a fancy meal, I realized that God is truly what I need. And so if I want to seek Him wholeheartedly, I need to push aside my physical desires and let Him take top priority. And then if I do this, if I seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, then as Jesus says in Matthew 6:33, all these things, meaning food and other physical needs that we have as humans, will be given to you as well. As it says in verse 32, right before this, God knows what we need, so seek Him. I also learned a lot about being content in every circumstance. Sometimes we'll be put in uncomfortable situations for God to do what He needs to do, what He plans to do in our lives. Look at the book of Acts. Paul was beaten, shipwrecked, and thrown in prison countless times. He spent his fair share of moments being cold and hungry. And yet he says in the well-known verse of Philippians 4:12, "I've learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want." How does one do this? Well, Paul gives the answer in the following verse: "I can do all this through Him who gives me strength." By God's strength, we can be content in any and every situation. Okay, so I'm realizing that this is not exactly the best ABS promotion. I'm talking about being cold and hungry, and y'all are probably thinking this is more of a prison than a Bible school. But in all seriousness, it's amazing. You're pushed physically, yes. You're pushed emotionally, and you're pushed spiritually, and you're pushed physically. But it helps you grow, and honestly, it's a lot of fun. And God can use this program to draw you into a deeper relationship with himself. That's what he did for me. That's why I believe he brought me out there, was to draw me into that deeper relationship with him. I'm also really glad I did this program before starting Bible school, which I'm doing right now here in Calgary, because now I know that head knowledge is not the most important thing. That personal and intimate relationship with God is actually what I need. Okay, so if you've done the math in your head, as I'm sure all of you are doing, you probably are a little confused as to why I'm talking about spending 3 months in New Zealand and yet ABS was only 6 weeks. And that is because after ABS, I spent 4 weeks at the Monavale Homestead, which is part of Cape Marie, New Zealand. That's just your ordinary Bible school. Well, sort of ordinary. So at Monavale, we had lectures and various studies. And so that's where I spent the remainder of my 4 weeks in New Zealand. I also traveled for a week before coming back on December 19th, and I made a video about that travel week. I think it's gonna be pretty good. So I haven't started editing it yet, but I think it's gonna be pretty good. So y'all should probably be excited for that. Anyways, after that, I spent a month or so just celebrating Christmas with the family and getting ready for the launch of season 2. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to these past 4-ish months. And I want to say thanks to all those of you that were praying for me while I was in New Zealand, or if you left me an encouraging message or an encouraging comment, which lots of you did. It really means a lot. And I'm really thankful for you guys and thankful for how God used you to just encourage me. And it's really, really cool. I'm hyped for season 2. I hope you guys are as well. So you should probably subscribe so you don't miss out. Maybe leave a comment if you're so inclined. And have a great day. I'll see you guys next week.